Just take a look at some of the beauties Mama and I created for today's video using Iron Orchid Designs 2026 summer release. We have all of this and more today from Spindle Mountain Mercantile. Welcome to our YouTube channel. For project number 1, I scored this little truck in the after fall area for 90% off at Hobby Lobby. She shoots, she scores, 55 cents. I was also winning when I found these test tubes at a yard sale. You can see this drill bit fits in there, but that's not big enough, and that's our biggest drill bit. This is another one that's specifically made to drill bigger holes, so I'm using it. It needs to be a little bit bigger than the test tube. I'm starting in the middle and just going down until I feel like it's far enough. I am over the tire right now, so this one can actually go a little bit deeper than the others, but I'd like them to be the same height. Now, one of the things that I realized after I was done, I did not put these holes in straight up and down. I think that's because I was trying to make sure y'all could see what I was doing with the camera angle. So it is what it is. And you know what? It kind of looks realistic. I don't know if it can be realistic in a little wooden truck with big, huge test tubes sticking out of it. Not like you'd see that driving down Highway 28. But it's like if the truck, screeched on its brakes, they would lean forward. That we could just tell people that was my plan. These are kind of broken, but that's okay.
Is there any way we could put some of this on a... Okay.
I left this in there for those of you who are just as careful as I am with their paints. Yep, just pulled a big old hair out of it. Oh, this is our not so good crinoline, our crinkly crinoline, the one I spilt on the floor that I scooped back into the can after it had partially dried and was rusted. It's like I tell people I pay good money to put sand or salt wash in my paint. So I left it that way, and I really like it. The one thing I might have done different here is maybe not have Mama use that crinoline on the fenders. I think the fenders, with what I did in the end, I think they would have looked better if they were smooth. So I would have just not painted that part with the crinoline. I painted them later. You'll see in a minute. What do you think? Ugh. That's okay. It was already broken. I broke it yesterday. And seriously, if we want to keep it realistic, how many really old trucks like this would have perfect rails on the back if they've been toting around giant test tubes of florals? Not many. So go with that one too.
Do we have to do the back of it too?
Yeah. We're trying to make everything look pretty. So when she was done painting, it was time for me to start adding transfers. I used words and vines from Primrose Isle and florals from the Belgravia. I used one of the vines to go up and around the side cab of the truck, and to do that I had to cut it. I think I did thirds just to give that curved look, and I just laid them back down. It's so easy to make vines twist and turn the way you want because you just put the vine down on the other vine and it looks like it naturally went that way. I added a little bit of extra greenery just to the front of the top. I felt like one of those areas, it just looked chopped off and it needed to continue just with like a leaf or a flower. I decided to put the biggest floral down first, the one that's going to go in the center of the door, because then I could put the words on it if they overlapped. I didn't want the florals to go over the words. Now, I'm not spending time today showing you how to apply transfers. That's not this kind of video. I'm just giving you new ideas for how you can use the new release from IOD. To paint the fenders, I sprayed some aluminum Rust-Oleum onto a piece of plastic and painted it on with a brush. I removed all of that paint from the brush with Debbie's Design Diary brush cleaner. I used Rust-Oleum Ultra Cover in semi-gloss clear to seal the entire piece. First, I filled the test tubes with lots of my roses, but then I just put one single bud in each test tube. Which way do y'all like better? Project number 2.
Now, Heather had this lamp, and she gave me this book that Lassie Grenzer did all these patterns, and they're just precious, mind-boggling. And Heather said, I am free to use as many as I want to use on this lamp. And I'm starting off with this gorgeous beetle with the fern for wings.
I told Mama to be honest about if it's difficult or not to do transfers on curved objects, and she just blurted right out, "It's hard to do transfers on curved objects." I'm like, "Mama, but if it's a little one, it's not, only if it's a big one." So here's what Mama had to say, and this is honestly what she said at the time.
Go slow, and maybe you have to put a few cuts in your pattern to make it fit around. It's only big patterns that are a problem. Small things, just piece of cake. Because this is going on real easy. But I'm going to have a problem here with this tulip or whatever it is. But I'm just going to slice it off. Hope you can see what I'm doing. I'm just using my fingernail because it's working. Maybe I'll try this. See how good that's working? Lamps are expensive. You buy them even at Walmart. A small little reading light is big bucks. So with this and pretty pictures out of IOD and a new shade, it can be perfect. Look at that. Look at that. Ooh. Now I need to cut this out so I can get it to lay down. It's not easy, but it's doable.
I probably should have wiped it down with alcohol on it. You want to take that home and work on it more?
What?
Do you want to take that home and work on it more?
Yeah, but I do have stuff to do there. Look at that. Look at that. I'm going to burnish this with my fingers, just pressing all the edges down. Isn't that beautiful? Lots more to do. Heather?
Yes, ma'am?
Can I take this with me and play with it at home?
I think that would be a lovely idea.
Okay.
Do you think Sophie will leave you alone long enough to play with that?
Oh, you know what? When she comes in there and I'm busy,
yeah,
she goes back to Janice. Or she goes and sits in her throne in my bedroom. I'm going to take this book with me. I don't know how many I'll use out of it, but
okay.
It's going to be mostly bugs.
I think it's going to be awesome. That is real pretty on there. Gosh, she really did do a good job, didn't she? Lexi did a beautiful job on this, and we're not the only ones who think so because we sold out. So if this is something you wanted to buy and you made an order from us but missed it, or any of the other new items from the summer 2026 release, let us know. You can send us an email or catch us in our Facebook group, and we will take care of the shipping if and when you order it later. At a thrift store, I found the perfect shade for this lamp. Mama took that, the lamp, and the book home, and here is what she came back with. I cannot wait to share this with Lexi Grinzer. Project number 3. The Belgravia is another one of our amazing products this release. Y'all, if you have a vendor booth or if you go to vendor events and sell things, or if you just want to make gifts for folks that are from your heart, I highly recommend this book. On our website, spindlemountainmercantile.com, this book costs $24.50. When you count everything from flowers and spoons to teacups and plates, this book has 90 pictures in it. Each picture is only about a quarter. There's another way to think of it too. Each page is only $3.06. If there's 25 items on a page, that means they're only about 12 cents each. And not only is it economical, it's beautiful. And I know I'm not the only one who thinks that because this is something else we sold out of. And I just want to remind you, if you made a purchase from us, buying things from the 2026 summer release, and we were out of stock and you buy it later, let us know when you buy it and we will pay the shipping for that item. Our next order will be here on Wednesday, May 13th. These mid-century modern plates were in a haul where we paid $4 a box, and we got quite a few of them, but most of them were cracked or chipped. I had a few that were in good condition, though, and I think I can make them more valuable if I add transfers. So I have a great idea for these two. I'm adding teapots on each of them, and one of the teapots had a bird and the other one did not. So I cut a bird off of something else. I wanted the birds to face each other and the teapot handles to be on the opposite side. I don't know if that makes sense, but you'll see in the end what I mean. I also added some flowers around the bottom. I also added flowers around the bottom of each teapot just to balance things out. Before applying the transfers on these plates, I use 91% rubbing alcohol to wipe them down and I let that dry. It just takes like a minute to let alcohol dry. When I was finished, I burnished with my fingertips. I didn't want these plates to just hang on the wall, so I thought they needed something better than a plain old board to put them on, and I decided on this coat rack that I found in my stash. I cleaned it up real good and wiped it down with 91% rubbing alcohol. And I'm using Gorilla Brand's 2-part epoxy to attach the plates to the wood. This stuff works well. I've never had anything fall apart with it, but it's a lot more expensive per ounce than my favorite, which is JB Weld's Clear Weld. We buy ours at Harbor Freight. That's where we found the very best price. But I'm sure you can get it at other hardware stores. I did buy it once at Lowe's. It's about $20 for 2 bottles, the part 1 and part 2. You can also get it on Amazon, and I will leave a link for that in the description. If you buy anything from Amazon by using my link to get there, they will give me a small compensation but won't raise your price. Whatever brand you get, make sure you follow the manufacturer directions when you mix it. Sometimes it is different, but usually it's about a minute to a minute and a half, and you mix it until it turns white. I like to use a toothpick because it gives me a really precise application. And I always make sure I throw that toothpick away because I'm a little bit paranoid. I'll use it to clean my teeth, and I don't know what would happen. I just don't want to find out. After I put these plates on, I pushed them down very firmly and I left them overnight with books on top of them. I think it's extra secure though, because each plate is resting on 2 of the dowels. I think I'm going to keep this one. It's going to go in my kitchen and I'll hang aprons on it. If you had this, what would you do with it? Project number 4.
Okay, this is a new book, Primrose Isle. We're going to find something pretty in this to put on my clipboard. Ooh, there's some really neat drawings, but I want something big. Look at that.
That's pretty. That's very pretty. You do like you some pink. There's still 3 more pages, or maybe there's only 2 more.
We'll put that off to the side. Mama
cut off the butterflies and just one part of that center flower because it was just a tiny smidge too big. After she applied the entire piece, she went back and put that piece of flower on and just turned it a little askew, and you can't even tell it was ever taken apart. Next, she put the butterflies where she wanted them, and she added another one along the side. Then she found another butterfly, or maybe it was even a really pretty moth, and put it right in the center of the clip. I sealed this with 2 coats of Debbie's Design Diary Big Top, letting the first one dry before I added the second. Mama doesn't like to let me buy things from her. She always gives them to me. So I took this into the shop and took it right up to the counter and said, "I'm buying this." I needed a clipboard. My son literally asked me last week if I wanted just to take one of his because I keep borrowing it. And I'm like, "No, I have one someplace in my stash." Well, now I don't even have to find the one in my stash. I have this beautiful one. Wouldn't you want it too? Project number 5. This one's going to be short and sweet because Mama didn't make this here. In fact, I'm just showing you some molds that she made before she left my house. She actually took home some clay and some molds and made her very own molds at home without my help at all. It was her first time ever, and she did great. So for our molds, we don't use cornstarch in them. We use tapioca flour. I have found that it leaves less pock marks because it's even thinner than cornstarch. Using this really helps your clay release from the molds. So Mama made different ones at home, and here is what she brought back to me. I was so proud. Didn't she do a great job? I love everything about this. I like the placement she did and everything. She did need me to seal it for her because she did not paint the molds and she did not seal the paint, which is Debbie's DIY. This is Debbie's Design Diary paint, and it does have to be sealed because it's clay-based and water-soluble. For that, I used Sweet Pickins beeswax in dark. I painted it on with a brush, and I rubbed it off with a clean towel. You know how sometimes I tell you guys about our mistakes and they actually are improvements? Well, I thought she made a big mistake by gluing this glass in because I could not get wax underneath that and make it look like the rest. But I actually really like how it turned out because it made like a white outline, like another frame or a mat around what she put in this picture frame. And so I told her next time that she needs to do it again. On the way home with those molds and the clay, Mama stopped by Hobby Lobby and grabbed some scrapbooking paper that looks like sheet music. And then she used her favorite new transfer, Fern Fables. And y'all, look what she brought back. Project number 6. This bowl and mug were also in the boxes that cost us $4. I did get a set of these dishes. Unfortunately, this one, I couldn't even fix it because the handle was nowhere to be found. So I had leftover epoxy and I've been wanting to put these together, and now I am. One of y'all told me when I made something a little bit crooked, when I did another plate with a mug, y'all said, well, it kind of looks like it's intentional, so don't worry about it. And I thought, oh, I'll just make it a little bit more intentional. And this way I can put florals in it that will look like they're going over the sides. For the transfers, I'm using our new gilded transfer called Athenium, and it comes in golds and silvers. And y'all, I just now remembered that I told you I would put my silver and black book in this video, and I totally forgot. I am so sorry, but I will get to it in Friday's video, okay? So if you were waiting for that book, I apologize. I'm so sorry. So we're just going to speed up this process and I'll let you see what I did with the different pictures I took out of Athenium. And I cut them out of different places in the whole book. I even cut one big seam down a little bit to get some of the gold. You don't have to seal when you put transfers on things like glass or porcelain, so I didn't. This isn't going to get used. This is just to hang on the wall, so it just needs to be dusted every once in a while. For the florals, I just glued everything inside the mug. I didn't use any foam, and I think this worked really good. You know what? Waste not, want not, and I just didn't need the foam for it, so I didn't use it. I started by putting quite a bit of hot glue down between where the handle was because I want to cover that up. And I put my green, I can't remember where I got this, but I use this all the time. It came like in a big bow. And I was like, when I run out of this, what am I going to do? It's a garland, not a bow. I guess a bow is like Anyway, it's a garland. It might have been Joanne. I glued some on the other side that's not quite as long and made it attached to the side so it would hang just how I wanted. And then I kind of just put everything else in there. The I don't know, I put some lavender and I found these cute little pink flowers that had a brown dot just like the one on the mug. So it was just perfect. I did not put a hanger on the back of this. Instead, I put it on a plate stand. And look how cute this is. As they like to say in the South, y'all showed up and showed out for our website and bought us out of almost all of our new IOD Summer 2026 release. Don't fret though, we will have everything back in stock on Wednesday, probably in the afternoon. I'll get it posted as soon as the mail arrives. And don't forget, if you already bought over $100 worth from us of the new Summer 2026 release and something you wanted was already out of stock, when you buy that next time, let us know. Either send us an email or catch up with us on our Facebook group page, and we will pick up the shipping for that if you decide to buy it in the future. If you're new here, welcome. And to those of you who aren't so new, welcome back. We hope the new people will consider subscribing to our channel. We have a great group here, and we would love to have you join us. Also, join our Facebook page so you can share with us anything that we inspired you to make or something you might want to inspire us with. Mom and I are loving this new release so much we have already started on our third video, and we will have that available on Friday the 15th. We hope you will join us then. Until then, we hope you have a wonderful week. And as always, we hope you are blessed. Bye.